Welcome back to the Success Catalyst. Today, my host is Chidi Iwuchukwu, an extraordinary individual whose life story embodies persistence, resilience, and optimism. Known as the PRO guy, Chidi is best-selling author of Coming to Canada: The Ultimate Success Guide for New Immigrants and Travelers, and the leading voice in personal and professional transformation. With a diverse career spanning banking, corporate leadership, disability services, and community advocacy, Chidi brings a wealth of experience and insight. His educational background includes a Master of Arts in International Political Economy from the University of Warwick and a certificate in disability studies from Bow Valley College. Today, he is a sought-after public speaker, coach, and trainer, known for his engaging storytelling and unique sense of humor. Chidi's impact is far-reaching, having been featured on major networks like Fox, NBC, CBS, and ABC. He was nominated for the Star of Alberta Award in 2021 and the Alberta Newcomer Champion Award in 2022. And most recently, he won the Toastmasters International Speak Contest for Area C13 and Division C of District 99 in March 2024. So I'm very excited to dive into Chidi's incredible journey and learn how he helps individuals and organizations build resilience for impact. Welcome to the show, Chidi.
Thank you for having me. And thank you for that very warm welcome.
It was, I think, very accurate description of all the amazing things that you've done so far. And I have a feeling this episode is going to be full of golden nuggets. So I'm very excited to ask you all kinds of questions. So let's start. Chidi, your life has been marked by extraordinary challenges and triumphs. So what first inspired you to adopt resilience as a core part of your philosophy?
An amazing question. Thank you. Life didn't give me any choice. The things that I've gone through were not by my choice. They were not things that I wanted, but life threw those calls at me. And there's this saying, when life gives you lemon, you make lemonades. So
yes.
It wasn't my choice. I didn't have any options about it. But one thing I know for sure was the fact that I believe that tomorrow will be way better than today is. I believe that it will all come to pass. I'll tell you a very little story. My mom, who is my personal hero, taught me this lesson when I was still a kid. I had a domestic accident in the kitchen, just coming back from the farm. And then she was just as cool as cucumber while I was freaking out because I saw blood gush out from my hand. And after I was patched up at the health center and we're on our way back home, I asked her, I said, 1 minute we were preparing a meal. The next minute I saw blood spilling all over the place and I thought I was dying. I was screaming at the top of my voice, but you were so cool. You did not panic. And she says to me, whenever she faces a crisis, she tells herself, this too shall come to pass. This too shall pass. That mentality of this too shall pass. This is just a moment. This is just a period. This does not define who you are. This does not define your journey. That lesson had kept me going through some of the challenges and the trials that I've faced in life. So your answer, it was my mom, not me.
Wow, I love this story and I love the inspiration that your mom gave you. And I love this concept. This too shall pass. Whatever it is that's going on, it's just a moment. I love this perspective of looking at things, events, situations that sometimes are very overwhelming. Sometimes we want to scream, we want to cry for help, we want to just stay there immobilized and not do anything because the moment is so intense. We need to remember that it's just a moment and it too shall pass. Whatever it is, could be good, could be bad, it's going to pass anyway. I love this.
Yeah, and it doesn't define you, okay? It doesn't define you. There'll be moments after that. There'll be life after that particular incident. Actually, our response to crisis and tragedy, that is what defines us.
Mm-hmm.
That's what defines us. So if the way we live, the way we move when things are normal, are okay. That's just average. What separates us from the also run from the average persons, how we respond to challenges that seem to be debilitating and transform it from being things that can destroy us to fuels that can power our success. That is what makes it.
Yeah, it's not about the thing or the event that happens to us, it's about how we react to it. The same thing can happen to two people and they would take it like so differently and they would react to it so differently. And the outcome of their reaction, I think that's what counts more than whatever triggered that reaction or that response. Chidi, you've had a remarkable journey so far, from growing up in Nigeria to navigating life in Canada. So, how have these diverse life experiences shaped your approach to overcoming adversity?
The movement from Nigeria to Canada, just like you've mentioned, is just one of the stations in my life. So
Mm-hmm.
throughout life, there have been those kind of transitions and those kind of moving from one challenge or one issue to another. But in none of those ways could you see or require the level of resiliency that you need when you move to another country. Because the natural support system that you have inherited from your family, the support that you build up around your friends and all of that, you are probably going to discard them to start all over.
Mm-hmm.
And starting over is not a joke. Starting over in a foreign country is not a joke. For me and my family, we are widely traveled for education, for leisure, and for business. So we thought that it was going to be very easy to settle in Canada, in a new country. But it was anything but easy. We talk about culture shock. We talk about finding a job. Talk about the fact that sometimes when you get into a new country, the same experience, the same skills that qualified you to move or to be accepted as a permanent resident are
Mm-hmm.
the first to be discounted. So in the
Wow.
case of Canada, you are hearing sometimes that you don't have Canadian experience. Now the challenge
Mm-hmm.
is you will need Canadian experience to get Canadian job. And you need Canadian job to get Canadian experience. You don't
Yeah.
buy Canadian experience from the shops. So navigating all of that and being positive that this too shall pass took quite a bit, right? But what powered us through, what supported us was that philosophy and the fact that we are very resilient. We knew that it's just a challenge in front of us. We will deal with it and we'll move on, and we will use that to inspire others coming behind us.
So it will take a constant state of awareness to be able to comprehend that and to remember and to remind ourselves about that. Because sometimes the daily life situation, like looking for a job, like going through the daily adversities or the culture shocks that you mentioned, sometimes like in the moment we tend to forget that this is just a moment in life, or we're just a little dot in this big universe, and it's not really something constant. Everything is going to change eventually, and we need to navigate our way through this journey.
That's correct. The other
Yeah.
thing that really helped me is my faith. I
Mm-hmm.
am a person of faith. I believe that we are not here by accident, that we are here for a purpose, and that we are here on a mission. Now, the knowing that you are sent here on purpose, on a mission, and that you have a purpose means that if you connect with your source, then it's
Mm-hmm.
easier for you to handle. I am a person of faith, and the faith that I have is that whatever it is that happens, I am able to find the courage, the strength
Mm-hmm.
the from God who supports me. Like it's written in the Philippine the book, in the Bible book of the Philippines. My strength comes from God, who is my power, and all of that. So that faith and being rooted in the culture that says you can move beyond what you are facing now. Helped us a lot when we came in. And learning from that, we've been encouraging other people who come in. Listen, it may not take one day, it may not take the next few days for you to settle. So have a long-term mindset about it, but surely it's an important move.
I love it. I love your perspective on seeing things and really keeping resilience as like a stepping stone on whatever is that the situation that we need to go through. Resilience is the first factor that needs to be present throughout our level of awareness throughout the day, throughout our projects. Maybe we have to keep this level of resilience and strengths of I would say personality and character, because sometimes different reactions and different responses to daily challenges like the ones an immigrant could face would need a constant state of strength and being in control of your behavior, your attitude, your daily actions, the choices or the decisions that you have to make. So this all enters the equation. And now I want to talk about your career that is fascinating. It's stretched between banking, corporate leadership, and disability services. So what motivated you to make such significant career pivots? And what lessons have you drawn from each field?
So I was a banker back home before I relocated to Canada. I rose to senior management. But when I came to Canada, I felt that this is a different life span. This is a different part of my life, and I wanted to do something really different. The first motivation was to be entrepreneurial. I wanted to have my own business, and I surveyed the place and found out that the disability industry was still young, and there are still opportunities for new entrants at the time. So, but what I did, I went into the field to learn. I wanted to start from this law to learn everything about disability. So of course I went to school, and then I found a job in the industry, and then I rose from there to become a disability support manager. Now the idea is when I start my own business, I should be able to know everything about it and be able to deal with everything that comes in from there. And that's how I behave. I try to find a place, anything I want, I try to find somebody who is already good at it, somebody who is already doing it, and then I can go in and learn under the person. Now, this is not something that is original to me. Where I come from, we have what we call the Igbo apprenticeship system. What that simply means is people find masters, traders who are in the field where they want to build a business, and they go and learn from them, sometimes between 5 to 6 years. And then after that, the master will set them up with capital, startup capital, and give them all the connections and networks that they have. It's been called the biggest business incubator. So learning from that concept, I came into Canada. I also decided I needed to go through that same process, find where I want to build a business, get into it, learn it inside and out, and set up my own. Okay. And I'm lucky to find a place, and it's been a wonderful experience.
Wonderful. I love it. And now you are the founder of the Resilient Immigrant Foundation. So you focus on men's wellness, I understand. And I want to ask, what led you to start this nonprofit, and why is men's wellness a critical area for you?
So it was January of that year, and the wind was just blowing. It was cold in Canada, as you know, it's January. And we had just left the place. I was the last person to leave. The cars had gone off, and I was just looking into the ground, because an hour earlier, we had just put in somebody who is there to me, somebody from our community, into the hole in the ground. We just buried somebody. And this guy was, what, around 58 years, and he died of prostate cancer. And it was the first time that I was seeing the burial system in Canada. When everybody left, something just kept me looking in there and thinking about how final this was and what was going to happen to the young family that he brought into Canada. And after that incident, I felt called to say, to work in the community and support men. Because when we come in as men from different parts of the world, particularly from Africa, we have some cultural baggage that we take with us that prevents us from engaging with the medical system, the healthcare system, where we now call home. It's funny because Canada has a free healthcare system, free health insurance, but still, because we came from a culture that says you only go to the hospital when you are ill, and not for preventive, not for maintenance, only when you are ill. So many of us do not engage with the medical system. And when I say so many of us, I mean men. So I felt called and led to say, hey, we can't be dying in the land of plenty. We can't be dying in a land where we have free access to top-class medical professions and medical system. What are the challenges that we have, and how can we navigate through this? By encouraging our men folk, by encouraging our brothers and our fathers to engage with the medical system. And also by letting them know that there are challenges that are peculiar to us as immigrants and as Black people, and that we need to come together to advocate for those challenges. So that was the inspiration for the Resilient Immigrant Foundation.
I love that. I love that. And I know that, so we just talked about navigating multiple professions and life challenges with grace and determination. So I want to dig deeper into that. In your view, what are the essential qualities that define a resilient leader?
Just like in the personal life, a resilient leader must be somebody, or rather should be somebody who does not fold up when adversity hits. So it's somebody who understands that his personal character, his personal strength can provide source of energy and source of support for the organization, the team that he leads when they're facing a crisis. Therefore, the belief that we can together pull through this, together as a team, work towards moving from this challenge and looking back, taking the lessons from this challenge and building something wonderful out of it, and making sure that tomorrow is better than our today. That focus, that mindset is what defines a resilient leader. And we need resiliency in our leaderships in every aspect of life, in the family, in the community, in the corporate world. Once a leader doesn't fold under pressure, then his team will draw strength from his encouragement, his attitude, and his commitment to excellence, even when under fire. That team will rise to build the best version of themselves.
I love that. And I may add that if there weren't for the challenges and the adversities in life, you wouldn't need leaders. Everyone would know what they had to do, and nothing really would need such leadership skills after all. And as you have proven over and over again, since we started talking, resilience is the main component, it's the name of the game, let's say. So being a resilient leader is what every family, every business, every team shall need. Now, I want to talk about your book, Coming to Canada. It offers invaluable advice for new immigrants and travelers. So, what are the key strategies that you recommend for newcomers to successfully integrate and thrive in a new country?
So here is the book, Coming to Canada,
Okay.
the Ultimate Success Guide for new immigrants and travelers. Now, the book draws from broadly 3 experiences that I've had. My own personal experience as a newcomer to Canada, the experiences of people who had come in with our support, settled as fast as they could and in record time, and also working with the ecosystem that support newcomers. So what we've learned from the community, put inside the one of the biggest things that we speak about is the attitude. So many newcomers came into Canada, having been sold abroad that Canada is the place to be, that Canada is amazing, Canada is wonderful, and Canada is where dreams happen. But what nobody sold to them was that those dreams, that amazing nature of Canada may not happen in one day, may not happen the day after you come in. So it needs to take a little time. So the core of it, again, is that idea that you've taken a strategic and very important decision of your life. Now, how do you make it a success? And how do you make that success sooner, quicker, faster? And the core of it, again, what we've been discussing is resiliency. The idea that it's going to get well. You know for sure that it's going to get better. But it may not happen as fast as you will want it. And so holding on to that faith, holding on to that hope, holding on to that idea, that purpose, and navigating through the whole system is the core message of the book. So hold on, brother, hold on, sister. It's difficult now, but you can make it. You can go through this and you can become a success and an inspiration to our community.
So if I understand correctly, it's all about perspective, actually. Like you have to see it as the big picture. You have to see this journey of immigrating and maybe starting a business, starting a new job, navigating a new career. You have to look at the big picture and expect good results at the end, maybe in the middle of the story, but not immediately, because that would be a great dream, but probably not so realistic after all. So keeping in mind that it's all like moments in journey that we have to live one by one. We cannot skip the steps until the big dream is over there on our doorstep, and always keep the resilience in mind and keep this great attitude that you've been describing, the attitude of responding to a situation with calmness and with resilience instead of reacting and getting maybe overwhelmed, especially for a traveler or a new immigrant with such culture shock, such maybe adversity in finding a new job. So I imagine the book is full of golden nuggets. And yeah, Shidi, I will make sure to add the description in the description of the episode, the link to maybe buy the book and any other links that people can find to interact with you and connect with you.
Yeah, and you got it very right. So one of the things that supports resiliency is you having short-term, medium-term, and long-term goals. So if your goal, for example, we're discussing about settling in Canada, you need to know it's a long-term project. Officially, you are still a newcomer to Canada for the first 10 years. That is how the government sees you are settling in Canada, how long and how challenging it could be that they allow for you to still get some support for at least 10 years when you come in. But if you think that it will happen 6 months after you come in, now don't get me wrong, there are people who move from wherever they are and they move parallel. So the same job they are doing or similar job, or even they found a job before they get to Canada, which is great. But that is not the story for the majority of it. Yep. So you will need to pace ourselves and say, hey, every day, every week, I work on this project, on this journey. And by the way, the book is just about like checklists. So things that you need to do, right? From the minute you land in to the minute to when you settle, whatever it is years down the line. Every minute you work on those things, every point you knock off on that journey helps you build up that end goal. That end goal, which might take you 1 year, might take you 2 months, might take you whatever length of time, but you need to be consistent about it and to remember that it may not happen in one day, but it's certainly going to happen.
I love the concept that you made your book as a checklist or a toolkit, like a starter kit to come into Canada. I love that, and I love when books are very practical to follow. When I read the book, I don't read, especially nonfiction, I don't read it as a story. I may enjoy the little stories that come like in the chapters, but I read it in a way that I will continue reading it over and over again until I'm applying what's in it. And the fact that you mentioned that it's can be used as a tool to follow step by step, this is what you need to do, and you need to check if you've done that and then move to the next chapter, maybe the next step of the journey. That sounds amazing.
Yeah, thank you.
And now I want to know, what exciting projects or initiatives are you currently working on? Can you tell us more about that? And where can our listeners find your latest work and insights on resilience and personal growth?
So I just got my coaching certification from the American Society of Neuro-Linguistic Programming Practitioners. Um, so I am now certified as a life coach. What that means is I am able to use my experience, use my knowledge, my skills to support others in and to coach others through their own challenges, to face their fears, reduce their chronic stress, and to build their resilience. So I am setting up my practice and it's going on well. So I'm ready right now to take in clients, to support people, not just taking clients because I don't want it to be to sound like a medical doctor, but I'm available to support you in your journey, to say, hey, listen, it could get better. And why do I think that I qualify to talk to people about this? Well, I've been a survivor. I have survived from poverty to become an award-winning banker. I survived kidnapping to become a community leader in Canada. I survived cancer to setting up organizations that support men's health. So I have been a survivor and I can lead you through that journey, support you, to help you, and to make sure that you have all you need to navigate those difficult moments of life. So my website is at chidispeaks.com, chidispeaks.com. Reach out and let us have a very heartfelt conversation to start the journey to your resilience.
I love that, Chidi, and I agree that the fact that you have been there, where probably your current client is really truly a game changer in the whole situation of coaching, because we usually seek coaches depending on how we resonate with them. The coach or the mentor or the life coach need to have been there where I am today, and I want to see how they did it, and they're going to tell me how they did it because they've been there, they know the challenges, and they can understand my situation, my dreams, my goals, and maybe my challenges more than anybody else. And you are truly a product of your product. You've been there, you've done that, and this is how you can help others do the same.
Absolutely. It's not theory, it's practical. I have felt what you have felt, the fear, the uncertainty about tomorrow, the not knowing where the next meal is coming from, not knowing what life is going to throw at you the next second, but moving forward with hope and with courage to say it could be better. Listen, don't allow your fears to hold you back. Don't allow the challenges you're facing now to stop you from moving forward. Don't allow the situation that you are in to prevent you from venturing. Life is a risk, and holding you, coaching you, and holding you on that journey, you will be able to overcome your risk. And here is one thing to note. 87% of the things that we fear never happen. 87%. Now, don't take my word for it. This is from a research by the University of Cornell. 87%. Now, of the remaining that happens, 95% of the time, people said they handled it better than they thought, and they learned better reasoning, and learned better lessons from them that made them better than they were. So when you do the maths, you are looking at just 3% of the things that we fear really happen. 3%. So my question to you as you listen to this is, will you allow 3% of your fears that could happen to prevent you from enjoying life, from moving forward, from impacting the life. Put in other words, what will you do if you have 97% chance of success?
Wow.
And why are you not doing it?
Wow, I love that. And I think, yeah, the question and the answer both reside in our own minds, because most of our results are dictated by what's happening in our mind, in our subconscious mind. And for some reason, our brains are wired to think of the worst case scenario before the best case scenario. And the more we think of something, the more of it we can attract. So we better think of the best case scenario and think about this 97% of the time that we are literally designing our own fears and living inside them. That just is not worth the effort and the time and the neurons that we're investing doing that. I really,
Absolutely.
really love your insights on the subject, Chidi. And to our listeners, please go to chidispeaks.com. I'll put the link in the description of the episode. Contact Chidi, see how he can help you. Maybe check out his book, Coming to Canada. I'll put all the links of your social media and your website in the description of the episode. It's been a great pleasure having you, Chidi. This was one of my favorite episodes. I've learned so much, and this is the first time I talk about immigration and resilience at the same time. And it has truly been inspiring for me, and I guess for many of our listeners today.
Thank you for having me. It's been my pleasure.
Thank you so much, Chidi. And to our listeners, thank you for listening, and we'll see you again in the next episode.